guys. So a lot of people think you can get concussions by doing really dangerous Hollywood stunt stuff. But the reality is you can get a concussion by doing something easy, like, whoa, that's slippery, and I just fell.
So, Rebel, you're here doing a PSA on brain injuries, on concussions. What brought you to that subject?
Well, a few things. First of all, I've had a concussion myself. I was working on a movie set, and it wasn't like some cool Hollywood stunt gone wrong or like some cool story really to tell. So there was grass and it was wet, and I was like, everybody be careful, that's slippery there. And then literally a second later, I fall down the hill and go bang, my legs went out from under me. I fell backwards and hit my head and was unconscious for a few seconds. And that was the first time something like that had ever happened to me. But luckily, I was like, okay, I think because it's my brain and I went unconscious, I think I should get it checked out. And they took me to the hospital and I did have a concussion. And I have a movie coming out called The Almond and the Seahorse, which deals with traumatic brain injuries and how that not only affects the people who suffer from them, but also their partners and their families. And it's a really like moving, different kind of film to my glossy comedies that I'm known for. You've got a form of amnesia from when you were ill 2 years ago. He's really struggling.
You can't see a broken brain.
It was something that it was such an important subject matter, and I hadn't seen a movie like deal with it in those kind of ways. I've seen documentaries about some brain injuries, but not ever like, you know, a drama film. And I just thought it was such a beautiful, moving script. We have a line that says, "You can't see a broken brain," and I think it's so poignant because you just, you look all right. When I had my concussion, I looked all right, and they're like, okay, back to work you go, because I looked fine.
Let's talk about your film, because I saw it, and it's beautiful. It's also really sad, because people don't understand what's actually going on with your husband in the film, or people in general who have brain issues. And it's a serious role for you, right?
Yeah.
And you started in serious drama.
I actually, like, when I first started acting, Maria, I thought I was going to be the next Dame Judi Dench. I didn't think of myself as being funny at all. Like, no one would have looked at me and gone, oh yeah, she's hilarious. So I really started as a serious actress and did Shakespeare's and all the kind of classics in Australia. It's just like nobody internationally has seen that work from me. And then I was filming a movie a few years ago with Robin Williams, and I was doing like a really fun comedy scene, and Robin came over to me and he's like, you should do drama as well. And I was like, oh, how did you get that from me doing like comedy? And he's like, he looked at me, he's like, no, you should be doing drama. And that conversation like really stayed with me. And then when this beautiful script came along, The Almond and the Seahorse, I was like, okay, I think I really want to do this. And
why did you really want to do it? What was it that when because you read something and you just think like, that's it, I've got to make this come to life?
I mean, one, that I had dated a guy who had a traumatic brain injury, and I learned from that. And I felt like this movie kind of honours, in a way, people who've had traumatic brain injuries, and I really liked that aspect of it. There was another element in that, well, I have an affair with French actress Charlotte Gainsbourg in it.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'd never kissed a woman before. And so I was like, oh, that could be interesting to try that out. And then I just thought, like, the message of the film, like, it's just so beautiful.
When you said that Robin Williams put the seed in your brain that you should do drama, he also had struggled with his brain. Did that come in at all to this? It just made me think of it when you said that, because
well, like, I mean, this was literally like 2 months before he passed away, our conversation. And you wouldn't have known anything was wrong with him. We were chatting, it was 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, we were doing a night shoot, and, you know, and just talking really normally, I wouldn't have had any sense that anything is wrong. And I guess that's the thing, you know, you don't really know what's going on inside somebody.
In reading about you, I read that when you first started in drama, doing drama in Australia, and then people started to laugh, and then you leaned into that. And I thought that's such a pivotal decision to make, because so many people, the same thing could happen to them, and they'd give up. And they'd just walk away and say, I'm never going to do that again, right? And you leaned into it. There's a lesson in there for millions of people. What made you lean in instead of give up?
What made me not give up
Yeah.
is because weirdly the year before I got malaria in South Africa and I was like hallucinating in the hospital, and I like hallucinated that I was an actress and that I was really good and won an Academy Award. So for some reason that little vision kept driving me, even though like I don't think I was particularly good when I first started acting. And then I had the experience where everyone laughed at me. I also had like an experience where I bombed trying to do stand-up comedy in front of like 2,000 people, and everyone was like, oh my God. My own mother was in the audience and she's like, I really don't think performing is for you. And I was like, oh. But there was something in me, I don't know whether it was that vision, but it just kept driving me to go, okay, no, I can, keep going. I am going to be really successful. And no one believed it until it's really started to happen.
But you believed it.
Yeah, I really had this inner confidence that I knew I could make it, even though statistically, like for a girl from where I'm from in Australia, to not only make it in Australia, but then to come to Hollywood, it's really rare.
Right.
So, but I just, for some reason, I had that vision, that malaria-induced hallucination, and I was like, no, I am going to make it. Part of the reason why it's great doing drama roles is because the comedy never gets recognised.
Right.
I was like, if that vision comes true, like I have to do a serious drama probably.
But your comedy has been recognized, right? I mean, you came here and like instantly was recognized.
I was very lucky. My first job here in America was
Yeah.
a movie called Bridesmaids,
Right.
which was a huge hit.
Oh, hey, Rumi. Guess what happened to me today?
What?
I got a free tattoo. I
did
could
what?
not believe it. The guy said, do you want a tattoo?
Just a
Opened up-
random-
Yeah, opened up the side of his van.
No.
He said, it's for free. And I said, sure.
You said yes?
Yeah. Look.
Oh,
See here?
what is it?
See that?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Bryn.
It's a Mexican drinking worm. It's like a Native American symbol, meaning wasted.
Okay.
I had auditioned for the Melissa McCarthy role and didn't get it, but they liked me, I guess, so they added me into the film. And that was just like an amazing first job to come here and just be like,
Did you feel then like I've made it? This is it. This was my hallucination.
It was probably Pitch Perfect that came after Bridesmaids, and then literally the day that movie came out, I became internationally famous.
Can you match pitch?
Try me.
Yeah.
That was a really good start.
I'm the best singer in Tasmania.
I couldn't no longer go to the grocery store in my pajamas. I had to stop all of that and just realize, people are probably going to know who I am now.
And what did you feel like, okay, that's what I dreamt? Or did you feel like, nope, the hallucination still
I
is
still
not?
feel like until I win an Academy Award, I won't have achieved it. So that's why I guess, I'm trying these different roles and still pushing. Like I still think, even though I'm now in my 40s, that I'm like only still now coming into the work that I was supposed to do.
I read in a quote that you said you think women are beautiful when they step into their power.
Yeah.
Are you feeling just now that you're stepping into your own power?
For me, there was something about turning 40 that I just was like, yes, I was trying to build a career and yes, I was being successful and stuff, but I didn't feel like totally me until I was turning 40. It's something about you're not doing things for other people, or you're you're living a fuller, healthier life, and I definitely wasn't doing that before, and I don't know, I feel like a late bloomer in so many ways, and it's not like you overnight you're like, oh, okay, I'm a fully formed, evolved person. Like it takes work, and I did a lot of that with I had in 2020 I did my year of health where I tried to transform and become like a healthier version of myself, and through that I did a lot of emotional work, and then it kind of all that slowly, month after month of doing that led to more, I don't know, being at ease with yourself.
So I read where you said that, look, I've done all this work, this film work, and yet everybody wants to talk to me about my year of health, about losing weight.
Yeah, I feel like I got more attention from losing 80 pounds than I had for doing like 20 movies, which was, it was intriguing. People are obsessed with like losing weight, especially here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did that say to you? Did you feel like, okay, I'm going to lean into this like you did when you were like trying to do drama?
Well, part of it, I wasn't shy about like posting thirst traps on Instagram.
So you kind of said like, I'm going to lean into this year of health. I'm going to bring everybody along on it.
Yeah, I made it public for accountability.
Right.
Because I'd tried in the past to lose weight before and, you know, tried hard for a few weeks and then kind of given up. And I was like, okay, well, if I make it public, then I have to follow through.
And you said you did emotional work along with that. Talk to me about that, because so
Yeah.
often people lose weight, but their inner self doesn't catch up with that, so they fall back because they haven't done the inner and the outer work
I had to
simultaneously.
do a lot of, like, I suffer from emotional eating.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to kind of manage that, I can never really cure it.
Right.
But in order to manage it, you're like, you have to go back to why these emotions are there and what happened in my past to like kind of trigger that, and it was like, it's sad and you cry and you and you work through things, and sometimes you have to have difficult conversations with people, and I was like, yeah. So at one point I thought, oh, is this the right thing to do? But it really did help, because the weight was kind of a sign of me holding all these things and carrying them with me, and I wanted to release that, and the only way was to release all the emotions attached to it. I think that work made me a better actress. One of my friends who's also a director, he's going, I think you're a better actress now because you're more emotionally vulnerable and raw, because I'm not carrying all that stuff around me to protect myself.
So how did you do that? Did you work with a therapist?
Yeah, a guy who I think is Dr. Sadeghi, who was famous for like Gwyneth Paltrow's has worked.
Did you
with
eat
him.
the sardines and the rice? Did he put you on that?
I didn't do that, but I read that chapter in the book.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that, but I just talked through like every 2 weeks had a phone call and like talked through things that were going on in my life, and how that your mental health can affect your physical health, and it was really like, I'd never done anything before like that. I guess in Australia you don't really talk about stuff. There's a culture of that, and in America I think people are much more open about it, and so it was like, at first it was like so weird to tell a stranger like some of your innermost feelings, but then you kind of get used to it and you slowly like releasing stuff, and then it was weird, as I was doing that the weight would slowly come off.
What did you discover about yourself through that?
I mean, one of the things was probably sexuality. Like I thought maybe I was 100% straight before I did that, and then I realized, oh, maybe I'm not 100% straight. I don't know what label I am, but like that was definitely something that came up. But also, like, it's weird. I'm so shy. I'm like a very introverted person, but then I've chosen a career that's like extremely extroverted. And so all that pressure and stress, it comes with a lot of anxieties because it's not my normal state. Like my normal thing is just to like be at home and chilling. And so all of that and things to do with fame and stuff like were causing me to like eat, and that was my way of coping with things.
So how do you do that now? Because now you've like put yourself out there, like, I've lost weight, I have a baby, I'm in a new relationship, a same-sex relationship, and it's all out there, and you're an introvert.
Yeah, I know, and it's hard. And it's also hard for people, because actors are normally in two categories. Some are introverts and extremely shy. And how I think, I became an actress because I would watch other people because I was so shy. I was not engaging in things socially, but I was watching people.
Right.
And so that's how I learned things about people and how to, perform different characters from watching. But then there's the other camp that they're so extroverted and, out there, and, they're the kids that people say, oh, you should move to Hollywood. Like,
right.
You're crazy. And so, I don't know, but it's my passion to be an actress. And I think for some reason, because I was so shy, playing other characters helped me be able to express myself, because I was like, well, it's not me, it's the character. So I could be in the High School Musical and pretend to be somebody I'm not. But then I could have all this confidence as the character, and so slowly that confidence merged into me being me. But it took a while. Even when I started first doing stand-up, I would always do it as a character, like I'd never do it as me.
Right.
Yeah.
The me that is right here now, the me, is this a new me that came out of the year of health, that came out of looking at your emotional eating, who you were, your sexuality, your personhood?
I definitely think I've changed, but like, I don't know, I think of myself as a car, like, you know, I'm 42 now. Like, if you had a 42-year-old car, you're going to make some changes to it. Like, otherwise it would be all ratty and gross by 42 years old. So I've definitely, I think, made some upgrades.
Uh-huh. You're a new mom.
Yes.
You announced that you had a baby through surrogacy, and that you also said that you'd kind of started on this year of health to try to become a mother yourself.
Yeah, that's what really kick-started it. I was turning 40, and then even though I was a career woman and didn't think, I wasn't sure, you know, in my 20s that if I wanted a family, I didn't. And I really went after my career, and my mum's like, yeah, get out into the world and crush it, because she had me when she was 24. And so I was like, I was getting to 40, and then I was like, oh, I really do want to become a mother. Every time I'd see a child, and, you know, in the street, I'd be like the weird person, like really staring at them, and like, oh, I really wanted that. And I just think, you know, there's something about creating life, and it's so beautiful. But at the time, I didn't have a partner, and so I went to the fertility doctor, and he kind of looks me up and down and says, oh, well, you'd have a much better chance if you were healthier. And that was the first time where I was like, I mean, I knew logically I was overweight, but I didn't, it was weird when this guy just said, you know, really looked at me with disdain, and I really was like, oh, hang on. And then I thought, you know, I was so angry at first, and then I was like, oh, I'm never going back to him. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, hang on, like, I am putting a lot of things into my body and a lot of toxins that I don't need. And I know if I really deep down be truthful, that I'm engaging with habits that aren't healthy for myself. So I was like, you know what? Once I got over the anger of it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I could be a healthier version of myself, and I didn't necessarily want to be skinny or anything, but I just wanted to be healthier. And the fertility journey really is what kick-started it, because it was almost like, because I tried so many times to lose weight and be healthier before, but now thinking of like a future me, like a mini me, that really gave it some gravitas for me to make a lifelong change with health. And then it was devastating when I'd gone through like 3 egg harvesting procedures and done all of that. And then whilst I was filming Almond and the Seahorse, I tried to create embryos from the eggs, and none of them survived. And I'd done all this, and I'd lost 80 pounds, and I'd been healthy and done everything the doctors had said, and then was, feeling awesome, and then it didn't work. Yeah. And I like all 18 eggs that I had, it was like none of them worked, and I was like, oh my God. And it was such an emotional roller coaster. And then I found that out whilst I was filming the movie, and it just really resonated with the character as well, because she really wanted to have a child. And I was like, oh my God. But then I was like, no, okay, can still try again. I was still young enough to try a few more times, and then luckily got my gorgeous baby girl.
And how has becoming a mother changed your life?
Well, I'm very new to it.
Yeah, but it's the first time you hold your child in your arms.
Because and having a baby via a surrogate is a bit different of an experience, because you in a way feel a little bit disconnected. Right. Even though I had this gorgeous surrogate who was so loving, and it was so awesome to get to do this with her. But then it's not until the baby literally popped out. It was almost like a comedy scene. The baby just pops out at the surrogate, and then you hold the baby and cut the umbilical cord, and literally from that moment you're just like it was just like amazing and so emotional. And then your life changes again massively in an instant. And she's just a beautiful miracle. And she's so precious. And I know every mother, you know, will probably say that. But it's really challenging. I have this big international career and, you know, and like the breadwinner of my family, I like to think. And so it's really challenging to like, well, now how do I do all the things and be a great mother and great partner and all of that.
So you get the baby, and then you announce that you are in a new relationship, and you put out a great quote. I thought you said, I was always looking for a Disney prince, but I didn't realize I was actually looking for a Disney princess. Yeah. Or it was something like that.
Yeah, it was that, yeah.
And so what?
I really didn't, it kind of took me by surprise. And who would have known kissing Charlotte Gainsbourg in
this new movie.
The Almond and the Seahorse. And then I was like, I was so nervous about doing it as well because I never kissed a woman before. And then I was like, and obviously it's acting and it's not real life, so you're just like, okay, I'll go for it. And then it kind of led to this kind of discovery, and which led to my awesome partner Ramona. And I don't know whether that would have happened if I might not have been open to that if I hadn't have done the emotional work and then had the stuff with Charlotte in the movie. That it was kind of like a little crack opening to that possibility.
What advice has your mother given? You said when you were starting out, your mother said, crush it, because she was 24 and had a child and perhaps had a very different life than you had.
I think she felt like my mother's a very smart woman and went into teaching, because a lot of the women in her generation went into teaching in Australia. And so I think she wanted me to just have a bigger life than what she had. And so she was always like, you know, just go out there, go into the world, experience the world, go and crush it. Because, I don't know, I think she felt that she was a mum of 4 kids and at times a single mother. So I think she tried to discourage me from, having kids too young and stuff like that.
But when you freak out now about how much has changed or is changing, or you're in does she have advice for this part of your life?
Well, she's just been here helping with the baby. I think she was just so happy for me because she knew how much it meant and what I've been through emotionally on the journey of doing all the egg harvesting and she was there when you got a good phone call from the doctor and then when you got a bad phone call. And so I think she was just so happy, and she's such a proud grandma. Yeah. And
totally accepting of you being in a same-sex relationship.
Yeah, well, that was like... she was the person I was most nervous to tell because I come from quite a conservative family. And so when I'd met Ramona and I made sure it was a serious relationship before telling her, and then I was like, Ma, remember you heard my friend Ramona talking on the phone? She's like, yeah. I go, well, she's not, she's my girlfriend. She's like, Ramona's a woman. I'm like, yeah. And she goes, you're dating a woman? I'm like, yeah. And she goes, well, that's great, darling. And she just instantly, there wasn't even a split, of or shock or she was just like, oh, great. And then she met Ramona. She came to Los Angeles, and then Ramona's like, you can ask me anything, Sue, anything you want to know or anything. And my mum just leans in and goes, is that your real hair colour? I'm like, Ma, she meant about sexuality and... stuff. And it was it was pretty funny.
But just like that, accepting.
Yeah, which was really felt amazing. The fact that my whole family was like that. Even my grandparents were in their 90s, who, again, I didn't know how they'd react. There's nobody on the spectrum of sexuality in my family. I guess they would all describe themselves as straight. So I was like, it was a new thing, and they were just amazing. They were just instantly oh, yeah, that's awesome.
So here we are, 42. We have a child. We have a serious drama coming out. Mm-hmm. We have a new relationship. And we still have this drive to get up onto that stage to win that Oscar for something serious.
I'm like that I'm taking the stepping stones to, show that versatility now.
But that's the hallucination, the vision.
Yeah, but weirdly, I think it will come true at some point.
For sure.
I don't know when. Hopefully it's not when I'm 80. Hopefully it's before then.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.